Have you ever experienced this? You wake up early, step out of bed, check your blood pressure. And the numbers aren't what you hoped for. Even though you ate light the night before, walked your usual 20 minutes, took your medication right on time, your morning blood pressure still comes out higher than usual. That feeling is all too familiar for many people over 60. And they all ask the same question. I'm doing everything right, so why isn't my blood pressure stable? I remember one case very clearly. Mr. Walter, age 72. A calm, thoughtful man living with his daughter and granddaughter in suburban California. He took his health seriously. Low-sodium meals, herbal teas, evening walks, a steady bedtime routine. Everything you'd expect from someone taking care of themselves. But each morning he would quietly check his blood pressure. And nearly every time, the number was higher than he expected. Some days it reached 150, even after a relaxing light dinner the night before. So I sat down with him and asked, "What do you usually eat for dinner?" He smiled. "Just some plain rice porridge, a little pickled vegetable, and tofu. Harmless stuff, right, Doc?" That simple answer made something very clear to me. Sometimes it's not about what medication you take, how much you exercise, or how early you sleep. It's about what you eat, and when you eat it, before bed. And in today's video, I want to show you exactly that. What common dinner habits may be silently disrupting your nighttime blood pressure, and the simple food swaps you can try tonight. So you can finally wake up tomorrow with a more stable number, and a more peaceful mind. Mrs. Margaret, age 69, firmly believed in the rule. An empty stomach leads to better sleep. Every evening after 7 p.m., she didn't touch a single bite, only sipped plain water. "I want my body to fully rest at night, without digestion getting in the way," she would say. At first, everything seemed fine, but after a few weeks, she started waking up in the middle of the night, often around 3 a.m., with a pounding heart or an odd feeling of restlessness. She assumed it was just normal aging insomnia, so she'd stay in bed, trying to fall back asleep. But every morning, her blood pressure readings were still elevated, even though she ate low-sodium meals, skipped caffeine, and walked 20 minutes daily. It turns out this is more common than you'd think. When older adults go too long without food at night, the body may experience mild energy depletion while sleeping. To compensate, it releases stress hormones to wake you up, raising your heart rate and slightly elevating blood pressure. It's a natural reaction, but one that often leaves you feeling drained and unsettled the next morning. The fix is simple. 1 hour before bed, Mrs. Margaret started having a light evening snack, like half a ripe banana, with a few walnuts, or a small bowl of thin oatmeal. Within days, she began sleeping through the night, woke up feeling more rested, and most importantly, her morning blood pressure slowly returned to a steady level. Skipping meals isn't always wise. For older adults, a gentle, well-timed evening snack might just be the soft pillow your heart needs for a calm, quiet night's rest. Mr. Luis, age 75, is extremely disciplined with his diet. He avoids fried foods, never touches coffee after 3 p.m., and makes sure every meal includes vegetables. As a nightly ritual, he would treat himself to a small fruit plate before bed, a few slices of green apple, orange, and guava, to cleanse the palate and boost vitamins, as he put it. Sounds harmless, right? But every morning, he'd wake up feeling a bit foggy, slightly more tired than usual, and His blood pressure was creeping up, a few points higher than the day before. It puzzled him. Here's the thing. Fruit is healthy, but not all fruits are ideal for night time. Sour fruits like oranges, green apples, and guava are high in natural acids. These acids can irritate the stomach lining, especially in older adults whose digestion is already more sensitive. The result? Bloating, restlessness, disrupted sleep. And poor quality sleep is one of the hidden triggers behind early morning blood pressure spikes. The good news: he didn't need to give up fruit, just choose different ones. Mr. Luis was advised to switch to half a ripe banana or a few dried red apple slices with a couple soaked almonds. The difference was almost immediate. He felt lighter, slept deeper, and within a week, his morning blood pressure readings began to level out. Not all fruits are bedtime friendly. What you eat, and when you eat it, matters more than you think. At night, your body needs calm and ease, not hidden stimulants, even if they come from nature. Mr. Albert, age 66, is a careful man. He reads every food label, knows exactly which items to avoid for high blood pressure. But there was one nightly habit he held on to. After dinner, he'd often have a few salted crackers or a small bowl of warm miso soup as a way to reward himself after a long day. He thought, just a few bites, surely that won't hurt. But reality proved otherwise. Every morning, he'd wake up with a dry throat, reaching for water the moment he opened his eyes. And his blood pressure? Almost always 10 to 15 points higher than usual, sometimes even crossing the danger line. Here's why. Even a small amount of salt can lead to fluid retention, especially at night, when kidney function naturally slows down. That extra fluid stays in the bloodstream, raising pressure inside the blood vessels, leading to elevated morning blood pressure. The solution wasn't to give up his evening treat. Just choose better options. Instead of salted crackers, Mr. Albert switched to a few slices of steamed sweet potato or a soft-boiled egg. If he craved something warm, he replaced miso soup with unsalted vegetable broth or a small cup of fresh celery juice. After just a few weeks, his sleep became deeper. And most importantly, his morning blood pressure began to stabilize. For older adults, even just a little salt at night can quietly disrupt the next morning's peace. A small change on your plate can set the tone for a calm, healthy day ahead. Mrs. Evelyn, age 74, always believed that a glass of milk before bed was the key to strong bones and a good night's sleep. It was advice she'd once read in a magazine years ago. And ever since, she faithfully drank a cold glass of plain, unsweetened cow's milk every night, just to feel a bit more secure before turning in. But something odd kept happening. She often felt bloated with an uncomfortable tightness in her upper stomach. Falling asleep became harder, even when she was already sleepy. And her morning blood pressure? Unstable, sometimes even crossing the safety limit. She blamed the weather, or just aging. But the real issue might have been sitting in that very glass. As we age, our bodies naturally lose the ability to digest lactose, the sugar in cow's milk. That means even healthy milk can cause bloating and digestive discomfort. And when the milk is cold, it further stimulates the stomach muscles, disrupting sleep quality. And as we've learned, poor sleep is one of the quiet drivers of unstable morning blood pressure. The fix was simple, but powerful. Mrs. Evelyn switched to warm plant-based milk, such as unsweetened almond milk or walnut milk. These options are lactose-free, gentler on the stomach, and help the body relax before sleep. After just a few nights, she slept more deeply, woke up without discomfort, and was surprised to see her morning blood pressure finally steady. Not every drink that sounds healthy is the right fit for older adults. What matters most is listening to your body and choosing what feels gentle, calming, and truly right for you. Mr. Paul, age 73, lives alone. He's very organized and follows a strict routine. Every evening at exactly 8 p.m., he takes his blood pressure medication. Then he reads a bit before heading to bed, without eating anything afterward. His thinking was simple. Once I've taken my meds, I'd rather not bother with food, let my body rest. But something strange started happening. Lately, he began waking up around 3 or 4 a.m., feeling restless, with his heart racing. Each time he had to get up, sip some water, breathe deeply, and then struggled to fall back asleep. And as you might guess, his morning blood pressure readings were no longer within a safe range. Here's the thing. For older adults, some types of blood pressure medication can slightly lower pressure during the night. If the body doesn't have enough stored energy to handle this, it goes into alert mode, triggering stress hormones, waking you up, and causing rapid heartbeat, anxiety, and poor sleep. And as we know, all of that can destabilize your blood pressure the next morning. The solution was surprisingly simple. About 30 to 45 minutes after taking his medication, Mr. Paul was advised to have a light snack, something like half a ripe banana, a small handful of almonds, or even a small bowl of thin oatmeal porridge. Not too heavy, but just enough to keep the body calm throughout the night. After 1 week of this small change, he no longer woke up in the middle of the night. And the best part, his morning blood pressure stabilized beautifully. Taking your medication on time is important, but pairing it with the right kind of gentle nourishment can make a world of difference. No extra pills required. Ms. Linda, 70 years old, is a big fan of all things natural. Every evening before bed, she brews herself a pot of herbal tea, usually ginger or peppermint, and sips it slowly while listening to soft music. To her, that's the most peaceful time of the day. But recently, she noticed something odd. Her heart would beat faster as she lay in bed, and her morning blood pressure readings started creeping higher. Even though her diet was low sodium and her sleep schedule was consistent. It wasn't until we talked more deeply that we found the hidden culprit. Certain herbal teas, while natural, can mildly stimulate the nervous system. Ginger, peppermint, and licorice root, for example, can raise alertness and heart rate slightly. For seniors, especially those with a history of high blood pressure, these gentle stimulants can be enough to disturb heart rhythm and impact blood pressure overnight. The solution wasn't to stop drinking tea altogether, but to choose more calming alternatives. Ms. Linda switched to chamomile tea, passion flower, or young fig leaf tea, all known to promote calm without affecting the cardiovascular system. The difference was clear. Deeper sleep, more relaxed nights, and steadier blood pressure in the morning. Nature can be a beautiful friend, but not every natural remedy fits everybody, especially after the age of 60. Mr. Frank, 76, lives with his wife in a quiet rural town. The two have kept a long-standing routine of eating dinner early, around 5 p.m., believing it helps digestion and sleep. After that, Mr. Frank wouldn't eat anything until breakfast the next morning. A full 14-hour overnight fast. At first, he felt fine, but over time he began waking up in the middle of the night feeling intensely hungry, with cold hands and feet and a racing heart. What worried him more was that his morning blood pressure readings became inconsistent, often rising slightly and leaving him anxious about his health. Here's the truth. Having dinner too early, then fasting for too long, can cause a slight overnight energy dip. To compensate, the body releases stress hormones that raise heart rate and blood pressure, disturbing sleep and affecting morning BP levels. The fix was simple and gentle. Frank kept his early dinners, but about 1 hour before bedtime, he added a light snack, like a warm glass of unsweetened almond milk, or a slice of whole grain toast with a few almonds. Not heavy, but enough to tell the body, "You're safe tonight." The result? No more 3 a.m. wake-ups, deeper sleep, and most importantly, steadier morning blood pressure. Sometimes good health doesn't require big changes. Just one small addition, at the right time, can help your body feel cared for all night long. High blood pressure rarely shows up as a sudden surprise. More often, it's like a quiet underground stream, gradually building up from small things we tend to overlook. A dinner that's just a little too salty. A glass of milk that feels healthy for your bones. A habit of skipping evening snacks to sleep on an empty stomach. Each of these repeated night after night. And then one morning, that number on the blood pressure monitor crosses a line you didn't expect. In my years of working with hundreds of older adults, I've learned this. You don't need a big overhaul to make a real change. Just one small shift at the right time can help your body feel calmer, safer, and more balanced. So if you're struggling with morning blood pressure spikes, take a closer look at your nighttime habits. Ask yourself, what am I eating before bed? When am I eating it? How does my body respond the next morning? A tiny change, like half a banana, switching from cold milk to warm nut milk, or trading ginger tea for chamomile, might lead to noticeable improvements in just a few weeks. Now I want to ask you, which of the 7 mistakes in today's video hit closest to home for you? Share your experience in the comments, because your story might help someone else catch their own warning signs. And if this video was helpful, send it to a friend or loved one. They might be silently struggling with the same hidden triggers. Important medical notice. This video is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to diagnose or treat any medical condition. If you experience unusual symptoms or a sudden rise in blood pressure, please seek medical attention right away. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video, where we continue the journey of caring for your health with kindness, clarity, and the comfort of knowing you are not alone.